Hi, my name is David Cook, and I had surgery on October 23rd. It turned out that, well, how I found out, I went to my doctor because I had kind of a swollen foot, and he thought that I may have a blood clot. Um, so he did an echo and called me that afternoon, and he said, "Well, you've got something going on." He said that I had an aneurysm and on my aorta. Uh, so he sent me right away. He sent me to a surgeon, and I went to the surgeon, and we came up with a date for surgery, and I had to see a cardiologist as well. So I went to a cardiologist before surgery, and he did, the whole chest x-ray, all that stuff. And it turned out that I needed a bypass as well. So I had surgery, and he did a bypass, and he did an aortic repair repair. I don't know all the terms. My sister was going to be with me, but it didn't work out. So she knew all the terms and all of the everything, and I'm still kind of confused. But surgery went well. It took about 9.5 hours, and I woke up from surgery, and I was ripping cords out of my chest, and it turned out I had delirium. So they put me on a vent, and they kept me on the vent for about 7 days. I was not responding, I guess, when they were trying to wake me up, and I wasn't responding. So they kept me on the vent, and I think on like day 6 or day 7, they had probes on my head to see if I had any brain activity. But I did finally wake up, and it was day 7, and I had no idea where I was, I had not a clue. I don't remember much at all, even when I woke up. They were asking me where I thought I was, and I told them I was in a hotel in Chicago. For some reason, I thought I was in Chicago the whole time. So I was there. I was in ER or ICU for another few days, and they finally sent me down to Sister Kenny rehabilitation. It was Abbott Northwestern, and then they sent me down to Sister Kenny, which is part of that, where I had an occupational therapist and physical therapist. I was having a hard time even catching a big ball, I mean, it was like physical and occupational. My brain was still a little fuzzy. I remember one of my occupational therapists got me out of my room, and he said, "Well, we're gonna make toast." And I, of course, I'm like, "Toast? Come on, I know how to make toast." But we went down to the kitchen, and he showed me everything it was, and I couldn't figure out how to make toast. So I was still in pretty bad shape in my brain. But slowly that got better, and I was at Sister Kenny for another probably like 2 weeks. I was in the hospital for a month, and the therapists were just amazing. Just absolutely amazing. I had so many good people around me and advocating for me, and because I couldn't do it myself. I had not a clue. I was, I think I was at the top of my lungs singing Amazing Grace, just doing really bizarre things. So I I was released from the hospital a month after my surgery, and I went home, and it turned out I couldn't breathe. I mean, I was, all of a sudden I just couldn't breathe. So I went to my cardiologist, and he did some tests, and he sent me to ICU again right away. So I went back to the hospital, and it turned out I had blood around my heart. So they had to do an infusion or something. That's another thing. I don't know what that's called. I apologize that I don't know all the terms, because I'm still a little confused about that. But they drained the blood, and apparently it was from the Coumadin, the blood clot medication or something, that was the reason I had all the blood around my heart. So anyway, I went home, I could breathe, and I just started walking downstairs, and I would just walk back and forth for, God, sometimes hours. I know the people around me kept saying, David, you need to relax, you need to heal, you're pushing yourself too much. Well, that's all I know how to do, is to push myself. But for me, I was not pushing myself. For others, I was. So I just walked and walked and walked and walked. And I eventually, a couple months later, I'm a caregiver to my nephew who has cerebral palsy and autism, and I eventually went back to taking care of him again, which felt really, really good. I hadn't come to my studio for a couple of months. It took like 2 months to get back to my studio, and I'm now, I would say I'm 80% good with my brain and my physical, my body. I'm just feeling a little bit better every day. Every once in a while I get up in the morning and I'm like, feeling a little surgery today. So I just calm down and relax and watch TV and just really take it easy. But I'm good. And again, it was just my surgeon, my doctors, the nurses. I am completely in love with nurses. The amazing things that they do. It's just, I just fell in love with nurses. I love nurses. That's all I can say about that. And even the people, because I had to be babysat for about 3 weeks. And so there was somebody right by my side all of the time, especially when I still had my feeding tube in my nose, because I was still really reckless. And I was, I'd jump out of bed and the thing would fall over and they would, just like freak out. I think I put a few of them through hell, but I didn't mean to. But I appreciate the people who watched me 24/7 and everyone, just wonderful people. Anyway, I'm good now. I'm on the road. I'm doing rubber band workouts. I got the all clear to exercise or do muscle stuff, but I'm not going to do. I'm afraid to do like heavy weights, and I'm still a little worried about doing push-ups because it's so but I am, I'm getting my body back, which is good. I like that. But anyway, I'm good. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this helped at least one person. Thank you.